back by popular demand, Mr. Jay Malkoun.
Prison is very violent. Pentridge was very, very violent. Ran up the stairs into the division, bumping into walls, into the guy's cell, grabbed his head and proceeded to hack his head off.
There's a strong loyalty with you and your brother.
They had minimal evidence on me, so they offered me a deal where if I pleaded guilty along with my brother, we'd do 5 years jail. If I didn't plead guilty, the offer was not extended to him.
It's a no-brainer for someone with honour, but not everyone has honour.
In the underworld, so much fucking honour and respect. Corporates are fucking dogs.
Yeah. But have you ever seen an instance where you've been like, fuck, that guy copped it for something?
Well, I was in the shower one day. The 2 guys over in the corner with their hands under their shirt. Clearly they were tooled up. And that bloke got hit with a hammer over the head repeatedly in his throat cup. You don't come into my world and behave that badly, because then I'll treat you the way I treat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Unbreakable podcast. We've done this a few times. Got our special guest, Mr. Jay Malkoun. Now, we've only done this twice in history. This is our second by popular demand podcast, meaning we put out the first one. You guys loved it so much, we brought him back for a second one. Not only have we done that, we've brought him back for an audience Q&A, meaning you guys submit your questions, we bring Jay on as our guest, he's going to divulge his story. The first podcast was an absolute banger. Back by popular demand, Mr. Jay Malkoun. We're going to do a deep dive. Jay, welcome back to the podcast. You feeling good?
Feel good.
The man who ages backwards every time he comes on, he looks better. So listen, guys, excited to be here again. This is going to be a different type of podcast format. So what we're going to do, it's going to be a little bit of Q&A. It's going to be relaxed. As I said, we've screened your questions. Some of them were fucking stupid. Some of them were really good. So we're going to read the good ones out here today. And we're going to take a little deeper dive. Also, Jay's book is out, The Consultant. We're going to put a link in the bio. And a lot of these questions are from people that have read the book. So if you haven't read the book, get yourself a copy. We're going to take you behind the scenes of the book and take you through some of the stories that you're going to read when you pick up a copy. So without further ado, we're going to get into a few questions. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. As I said, we bring people back when we have an original banger of a podcast, number 2. So Jay, the Consultant, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for this.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to be here. So we've got a few questions and I'm going to kind of structure this in a way where we're going to take the audience through a few chapters of life. So the first chapter, we're going to go a little bit dark, a little bit of Australian criminal history, especially in the Melbourne area. And then we're going to take you guys a little bit through the book and a couple of stories behind the book. We're going to end a little bit light, talk about some what this podcast is about, money, motivation, mindset, and inspiring stories from impressive people. So a few of the ones that we get from people who've read the book, a lot of people don't know that part of the era that you were in was the Pentridge prison era, which is where Chopper Read was incarcerated. And a lot of people also don't know that you are around a lot of the characters they probably know from the series Underbelly, but they don't know you've actually lived that life. So a couple of the questions we got were, everyone wants to know a story about Chopper, but also one of the ones we get is like, it would be like naive to think you don't see some pretty hectic things inside. So the top 2 that we got from the audience were, what if any Chopper stories have you got for us that people might not know? And also, like, if you had to take us behind the scenes of maybe one or two of the darker things that you had to see whilst incarcerated at Pentridge, right, in Melbourne, what would you say were perhaps one of the darker encounters that you had to experience?
Oh, you mean the daily encounters?
Yeah, the daily dark encounters. Yeah.
Like scripting there. I'll give you one story.
Please.
This is a funny one. 2 guys stole some stuff out of a cell, just a pair of grumps. And they thought they got caught. So they thought it was a good idea to get rid of the evidence. So they made pillowcase hoods, cut holes out of them, put them over their heads, ran up the stairs into the division, bumping into walls, into the guy's cell, grabbed his head and proceeded to hack his head off. What? Yeah, they got his cut him throat. He survived when they got caught, obviously.
Really?
Yeah, but
They chuck on hoods and just decapitate some guy.
Comical because You can imagine that. There's pillowcases over their head and they fucking couldn't see where they were going. They're smashing the walls and all they did is bring more attention to themselves.
A couple of special education ghosts.
Yeah. But I mean, that was just daily, bro. Prison is very violent. Pentridge was very, very violent.
There was a story specifically in the book, which you guys need to go out and read, where a young man got R-worded on his last day, and there was some repercussions around that. Do you want to?
R-word? What the fuck's an R-word?
Well, on the internet, you can use R-word, grape, or rape. So we can say he got raped, but the editors might have to beep it out. That's all.
This kid had a run-in with the prisoner when he first came into jail in Beaumont. He was locked up he was in 2 hours. So he had some, sexual experiences that he wasn't happy about.
Right.
He was a little bit traumatized. So he only did a short spell, and he ended up being the same division as his attacker before he got out. And the word got around this cunt had a crack at him. And it was no good, this other bloke anyway. He was known for fucking raping boys. So he tooled him up on his last day, the day before he got out, or that morning. Bested him up, got some hard books, the hard copy books, take out the inserts and he wrapped them around him. Because this other guy was very willing as well. He wasn't a flop. That's why he could rape tennis, but he put an art to his throat. And we vested him up, opened the cell, threw him in there and off he went. Went to town on him, carved him up good. Then we let him over the door and could see his other cunt bleeding out on the ground, terrified.
The guy that was doing the raping.
Very beautiful to watch.
I was about to say, I get heartwarming feelings hearing this story.
And the spirits knew.
Yeah.
They knew what was going down. He still got out. There was no interference.
Did he get out with a bit of damage? Oh no, sorry. The guy that got. Yeah, right.
Still got out, no problem.
And the guy that
he was alright, just cut a little bit. He was alright, just cut the.
Oh really?
He always recovered, mate. See, the body is so fucking resilient. You'd be surprised what you recover from.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting next to you, so I mean, how's the a little bit off topic, but how are the injuries since the?
What injuries?
Really, it's recovered that well.
I've got a sore thumb, but that's from weights.
That's that.
Yeah, but I'm good.
Right. So so you guys blessed this individual with some tools, a bit of armor. He goes in, gets a bit of revenge, and then he gets out, and that's the end of it.
So it's finished.
And what happened to the guy? Did he stop raping people?
No, probably not. He went to hospital, got out of hospital, came back in vision, back to normal.
Really?
No, it's normal. It's not a go.
And so again in the book, there's a strong loyalty with you and your brother because you've got multiple siblings, but there's obviously, it's a tragic story in a way how you guys got stitched up, but then I think also the loyalty between you two. For anyone that hasn't read the book, Jay and his brother, it's Ellie, you pronounce it right? Ellie, yep, were in together, and you took the longest sentence so you could be with your brother. Is that basically the?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Crown offered us a deal. They had minimal evidence on me. I may have been found guilty, and I may not have, but I had a pretty good chance of beating it.
Yeah.
So they offered me a deal where if I pleaded guilty along with my brother, would do 5 years jail. Sure. If I didn't plead guilty, the offer was not extended to him because he was in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And he'd probably get 16 years jail. So it was a no-brainer, really.
It's a no-brainer for someone with honor, but not everyone has honor.
Oh, but you'd be surprised. I think just about everyone would do the same thing. Not even brothers, friends as well.
Yeah.
Come on.
But we've got good friends. Not everyone's like that, There's a lot of snakes out there.
I think you'd be surprised. I mean, the majority are good people.
Yeah.
There's a few fuckwits around that are selfish and self-centered, but mostly when in the underworld,
Yeah.
so much fucking honor and respect.
Yeah.
We're not talking about corporates. Corporates are fucking dogs.
Yeah.
They would not do that because they're fucking dogs. But in the underworld, there's a code, bro. And most criminals are fucking honorable and reliable. And most of them, if they were in my situation, would do what I did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not unique. I just do what most people would do.
That's fair. It's we were talking about that this morning, right? About the Yeah, some of the worst people that you can come across wear suits.
Man, look, they use the law in their advantage. They're
Different kind of animal.
it's purely greed motivated.
Yeah.
But I found it with the underworld, most of it, I mean, is the common denominator obviously is crime.
Yep.
There's lots of loyalty and love.
Yeah.
People that commit crime commit it at a risk of being incarcerated and do it with someone for love and loyalty and respect. They do it together because they have a trust with that person.
Yep.
And it's usually reciprocated. So if they get into a predicament where they get the opportunity to save someone's sentence by doing a bit of jail, 9 times out of 10, I think they would do it.
Yep.
However,
Yeah, that was
I just had a reflection when I was back in the yards and there was 5 co-offenders and they all lagged on each other.
dead set.
And they were all fucking drinking coffee together as well. It was like that was their DNA.
Really?
Yeah. Old-fashioned foreigners. What do you say?
Yeah, nah, fair. Right, so you go in there, so you and Ellie are in there, 2 brothers. In the book, there's a lot of stories about, honor, loyalty, trust, you guys looking out for each other. I can't remember if it was you or your brother that was good at like hustling up toasters and food and snacks. And
No, that was my brother. No one rotted better than him.
what were some of his best rewards inside prison?
We had in our cells microwaves, DVD players. He stole the screws refrigerator and parked it between our cells, put locks on it. There was the screws and the microwaves, there were the screws. We would get a delivery on the tractor every weekend. This is in Pentridge prison, maximum security.
For people that don't know, this is the Chopper prison, which looks like a
No castle.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, fucking Dracula castle. He would get food delivered every weekend. He would get screws to bring shit into the fucking prison for us. Never drugs.
Yeah, of course.
We would have long johns, around greens, around t-shirts, moisturizers, fry pans, anything you wanted. He would send screws during their lunch break to go to my brother-in-law's fish and chip shop to get fish and chips for us.
That's funny as.
Nobody rotted better than him.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorite parts of the book, just listening to all the swindles that he would do to make life easier in there.
Yeah, no, we hustled hard.
What about, this is a weird question, could you get girls in there back then?
Well, it's funny you say that. He was fucking one of the teachers.
What do you mean?
She fell in love with it.
For how long?
For as long as he wanted. I had the librarian, she fell in love with me.
Yeah?
She was like this thing. She was a beautiful person.
Well, it's prison, though.
Not this, don't go there. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
That person and she helped me out with books.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he actually was having an affair with one of the teachers.
Dead set.
He was smashing it.
So you boys are in prison, eating good food, nice clothes, fish and chips, getting girls, really made the most of it. But for people that don't know, a lot of people think that you were in the H division, but it was actually your brother who was in there.
Yeah, we're in court. One of the screws got a bit out of line, so he got knocked the fuck out. And consequently, Ellie went to H division for a little bit. That's where he met Chopper and Craig. And then looked after him while he was there. And, yeah.
What did he say about his time in that division? Because obviously everyone's seen the movie, we all know.
It's cool, bro.
Yeah.
I was in H division for a while. Just slap, no big deal. Solitary confinement. It's actually a breath of fresh air. When you're in the system for so long, if you're in the system for a couple of years, that's good to have a little break in solitary for a week or 2 or 3, just to gather your thoughts and do a bit of reflection, read a book, some push-ups. It was fucking hilarious. They used to put me in the slot all the time in H division and accuse me of trafficking all the drugs in all of the Victorian prisons. Not just Pentridge, but all the prisons. Can you fucking imagine?
Yeah.
And then every 2 weeks they'd pull me out and say, right, what are you going to say about that? I saw you suffering. You guys must be joking. You monitor my phone calls. You see, I talk to you. You monitor my visits. How's it even fucking fossil? But anyway, turns out there was a police informant that I didn't even know providing information outside the prison, and the police were ringing the prison, giving them this false information.
So,
really disrupted things.
so hang on, so you had an informant alleging that you were running some sort of distribution syndicate from inside,
All
what,
of it.
fake information?
Yeah. He was getting paid for that.
The fuck? This is the second informant you've been on the wrong end of that's just been a rat.
Oh, no, but there's been so many.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Police employ people to give information and they get paid for it.
But
When they don't have it, they make it up. And if you look at someone that's a little bit high profile, it gets their interest.
do you find that you can pick up on these people pretty quickly now?
I've got relatively good instincts, but you know, they always sneak in under your guard. I'll tell you what to look out for. People bearing gifts, the ones that want to go out of their way to please you. They want to do everything for you. They do it for a reason. Want to get in under your guard, become a little bit dependent upon. Even if it's just running errands,
Yeah.
they're usually no good.
Yeah, trying to get a bit too close.
Too close, too quick.
Yeah.
And plus, they're fucking imbeciles. You can tell by the questioning, the conversation. It usually goes in that direction.
Yeah, like so again in the book, there's a scene where the first I call him the rat. Did you call him the snake? What was his name in the book?
No, I called it by your name, but the publisher and the lawyers wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, but they changed it to it was either snake or
Some fucking shit.
I think I call him the rat. You call him the snake.
Fucking little fucking-
She's laughing at our rat versus snake commentary.
No, they're actually-
So the snake or the rat, whatever you call him, there's a scene where he takes you out in the bush, and he tries to keep asking you a whole bunch of questions. You say, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And then you figure out who and what he is. But the damage had already been done because this guy had already kind of stitched your brother up as well.
Oh no, what happened was, yeah, they'd had my brother's. He was fucked for a few months, and I flew back into the state, and the police informer, who by the way, he became a police informer because he got caught with an ounce, and they didn't believe him, so he went and bought his own recording device and started recording all his friends and associates, 16 of them,
Yep.
sober, before they would take it on as a case. Anyway, so he dragged me across the road to the creek. We were having a bit of a chat, and he was talking complete shit, and I was, putting it on him. You're fucking, you on drugs? Or what's this? No, mate. And he fucking high, and he would say, "Now you're on drugs, and you're a liar." And so my whole point is, this whole conversation was him and I not believing each other and accusing each other of lying. That was the whole content of the information on me. There's nothing else. That's why I was going to fight it.
Yeah.
If I didn't believe him and he didn't believe me, how's the jury meant to believe anything they're saying?
Yeah.
It was no good.
Life throws you people like that, man. Some people are for a reason, some are for a lesson. So I'm just going to quickly correct. Oh, one of the ones that we got was, what was one of the questions? Oh, so any other prison justice stories where you've had to kind of act as karma for somebody? Or where you've seen some justice be handed out to an individual?
Listen, there's always issues in jail. It's like a daily occurrence. People, the violence is usually kept within confined areas, groups, and it's usually over things related to money or drugs. So if you're outside of that, you should be okay.
Yep.
And the point is not to get involved.
But have you ever seen an instance where you've been like, fuck, that guy copped her for something?
Every day.
Any specific ones you can think of?
Well, I was in the shower one day, and there was no curtain. I was in the door. And the two guys over in the corner with their hand under their shirt, clearly they were tooled up. And they were peeking over there in that corner. We're like, well, let's see how we get it. And they ran over there, one with the hammer, one with the knife, and that bloke got hit with the hammer over there, repeated in his throat cut.
Yeah.
That happened so quick. And then within minutes, or within seconds, that was done. The tools were handed to someone else, washed off and gotten rid of. Job done, in and out like a ninja.
Did he survive that or?
I think he did.
Right. And did you find out what he had done or?
I don't think give a fuck.
Yeah, okay.
You're my business.
Yeah. I feel
People come and go. I was staying. There's a lot of traffic in jail. A lot of people trying to go.
Yeah.
Stuck there. Pentridge. They couldn't house me anywhere else. I couldn't be accommodated in other jails. When they went to take me to another jail, they announced I was going to a jail. Now there'd be a number of prisoners that would exit. I don't even know these cunts. They'd drop hats on themselves. because the Malkouns are coming. They're fucking terrified.
Right.
True story.
And you guys got moved around together?
They moved us around a couple of times, but we didn't like it, so we was in the back of Pentridge.
Yeah.
We preferred Pentridge. We got nothing. That's how we liked it. There's no grey, bro. It's black and fucking white. They're dogs and we're prisoners. We don't want anything and we're going to get nothing. Whatever we got, we fucking took. That's how we liked it.
You know, there's a part in the book where you say that they offered to give you early release and you said, fuck it, I'm just going to do the whole thing.
No, I got more jail for playing up in prison. So I got another 20-something days. When you're in jail, if you do a governor's hearing, for example, you stab someone, for example, and they want to do a governor's hearing, the governor can give you up to 4 days jail. If it exceeds that, you have to go to outside court. So I accumulated all these 4 days jails, right, for paying up. So my brother was to be released 24 days or 26 days before me. So a year before then, he wrote to the parole board. I said, look, my parents wouldn't feel good about me getting out without my brother. I'd appreciate it if you could allow me to stay a little bit longer.
Bullshit.
Oh, that's a true story about it.
And they let him stay?
Well, they knew what we were like.
Yeah.
Knew that together we were manageable. Whenever they separated us, shit blew up.
Right.
So they let him stay for an extra year, 4 days.
Surely he's the only person who's applied for an extra stay at Pentridge Prison.
Oh, the same thing. You're one in, all in. You stick,
Yeah.
you're getting together, you're out together.
That's beautiful, man. Especially the way that you guys went in, you kind of came out the same way as well.
Imagine what my parents would have been. They're unhappy. One of us coming home, one of us staying home.
Of course. No, that's beautiful. So Jay, so you get out and there's a part in the book where you write, which is, fuck man, I read it in your voice when I'm reading it, but you say, I get out and I say, I'm never fucking going to go back there. I'm going to make as much money as I possibly can. And I'm done with that now. And then the next chapter is just going to be making up for lost time and making up for money that I could have been making. So you get out, you go into business. One of the first ones you had, because you had a club in Perth, right? And then you co-owned a strip club as well. Yeah. So which was the first of those two and which one did the best out of those two?
Perth was pre-jail, strip club was post-jail.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Given my name. Don't go over, Jimmy.
So yeah, one of the questions, because it was a very famous strip club in Melbourne, surely there's some drama, and I'm sure you've got 100 stories, but what's a couple of the top dramas you had to deal with at Spearmint Rhino?
But no one fucked up in my club.
Yeah?
My club.
What about the stockbrokers that come in coked up and try to grab people?
Please. No one's making a mess in my joint, but
Yeah.
you get in, you won't fucking get out.
Yeah.
No, it was very well known that it was my joint, and no one played up. We had some of the boys played up one night that they turned it on.
Oh, your boys?
Yeah, there was a big Christmas thing going on, and someone threw a punch at one of the boys, and the boys fucked them up.
Right.
Outside of that, if it wasn't us doing it, no one done it.
Right. So you ruled Spearmint Rhino with an iron fist.
No.
But
would you walk into a known person venue and play up? It's not going to end well.
But there's some idiots that just have a few drinks and they just forget about it.
We had one night when I had Puck from Singapore. He flew down this private jet. We had a few of the boys. We get out a few boys there, and we went to Donkeys on. Went to Spearmint, and there was this big Maori guy playing up. He's been to be fucking. So I cracked him a fucking beauty, mate. Yeah. And his mate, and they got dragged out and left in a bit of a mess. But outside of that, it was all good. If you knew, you knew. If you didn't know, you were going to get hurt.
There was also, because there's this one scene in the book, and if I get this wrong, forgive me, but it was, I don't know if it was a co-owner of that club, but there was a drama and you guys had to go out to some remote location and you took this, tell me that story. Because that was a good one.
So these Spearmint Rhino guys, they're Americans. So the casino, VIP casino, brought them to my restaurant and introduced them and said, these dudes are buying a strip club. If you can help them out, we're bad for them. A mate of mine is due from a casino. I said, yeah, sweet. So they started hanging around, gave us some direction. And they were pretty cool. And they were looking for a local partner. So we talked about me buying in, possibly, And then I was at the back. They had a wall. This place used to be called the Hippodrome. They had a whole wall of lead light of the comet. They were going to cover it with plaster. I said, no, I'll have that. So I had my boys there taking it down because I renovated my joint.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Gary Lewis, just got out of jail. He was a midget before I got out of jail. So he firsthand saw how I lived in prison and the respect that we demanded and got from prisoners and prison guards. And he came to the club and I was in the laneway. He goes, he walked into the club and he found in the laneway. And he looked a bit fucking disturbed. I said, what's going on, bro? He goes, oh, no, nothing. I said, clearly there's something on your mind. He said, I'm just not used to, ask about you in the office, and I'm not used to people talking about you that way. I said, what do you mean?
Oh,
Very how?
it's a red rag to a bull.
He said, I'm not going to start any drama. I said, don't worry about it. They're just corporates anyway. But I made a mental note. I started watching them. I thought these cunts are getting a little bit cute. They're getting a little bit confident. And mind you, they came to me. I didn't go to them. So now they're in my world. So we do things differently. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
That Friday that was coming, the principal owner was flying into town, right? I said, let's have lunch at my restaurant, 1 o'clock. Bring him straight to the restaurant. I said, okay.
Is he American?
Yeah.
Yep.
They had not paid the $300,000 bills yet for the people that were buying it off. So that Friday morning, I sent my boys into the club, pistol whipped the manager that got cute,
Yeah.
tore the place upside down, terrified the owner, and went for him to come to help, which is what they did.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
So they came to me, we sorted the problem out, I ended up with 20%. Long story, read the book. But the whole point is, you don't come into my world and behave that badly because then I'll treat you the way I treat it in my world. I was treating them with complete respect.
Yep. Yeah. And you got 20% off that?
Yeah, but
Yep.
it was a gift.
Have you cashed that out now? Like you've done with the clubs? Yeah.
When I left Australia, I cashed it out.
Right. That's a good segue because that's what I was going to talk about next. So, because when you left Australia, because you were the head of the club at that point?
Come on,
Yeah, the head of the commentaries. Correct. And you had a discussion. You said, look, I'm going to take off for a while. I'm going to leave.
Oh, no, my transition, I was retiring for a long time, probably 8 months. So it was not a surprise that I was retiring. And my number 2 was ready to step up. He was a good man and he was ready for the job. We'd grown in the club into nearly 4 chapters. We took it from nothing, 4 chapter 1 to 12. And it was going really well. And I transitioned out and he transitioned in.
I didn't feel that I knew enough about the life to do it justice and make a great podcast. And I think that's because a lot of people don't know anything about what the club life is like. And so a lot of the audience, I think, could also benefit from, because their experience with it is watching Sons of Anarchy, right? So like, what can you tell people is the biggest misconception about being in a club that they might not know?
Look, most bike clubs, most bikies are in it because they enjoy the Brotherhood and riding the bikes. Of course you're going to get nefarious activity because not everyone's on the same fucking page. And some people will sneak into a bike club for protection, whatever they're doing on the side, a bit of a side hustle, they get looked after without even the club knowing perhaps because they've got the patch. But basically, most clubs are misunderstood, but most people join the bike clubs because they're looking for a home, a brotherhood, and enjoy riding their bikes. For us, it was that. In Victoria, we were all like-minded, we're all healthy, fit. Most of us were employed, if not all of us. We all had families, and we really enjoyed hosting the parties and going on our interstate runs. It was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah,
So much fun.
you talk very fondly about it in the book. In fact, I remember you'd organise them. You'd have one boy who'd organise the whole ride and then a party at the end of the ride. You'd go for a couple of days in the clubhouse and...
The parties were insane.
Yeah. No dramas, like everyone's happy, everyone's chill.
Yeah, well, it's a party. It's not an opportunity to fucking dress down people.
Yeah.
Like we're celebrating whatever that occasion is we're celebrating. So we're there to celebrate and enjoy.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Yeah, for real, bro. I like that. I like that.
I'm just saying the commos. I don't know about other clubs.
Yeah.
The commos, when I've been involved with commissars, they were new, fresh and young. They were the new kids on the block. They were fucking sharp, willing, had a lot of self-respect.
Yeah.
And, they're very loyal to each other.
One thing you said as well, which stuck with me, was like, if someone's got a drama, you figure it out. You don't go and pull all the boys in. Like, you got,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, if anyone had their own issues, then they were expected to
Sort it
address
themselves.
it themselves. Otherwise, if you're not capable, why the fuck you with us? Because we're capable.
Yeah. Right. I think that's another misconception. People think like, oh, like there's just this big gang of people that are going to come and like solve whatever problem someone's got. But from what I read in the book, you're like, if you've got a fucking problem and you're with us and you can't solve it, you shouldn't really be with us to begin with.
Correct.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's
Just if you're a chef and you can cook really well, then we'll take you.
Did you have a chef?
We had lots of barbecues.
Yeah. Okay, so you had a second in charge, and he was kind of ready to step up. So you negotiated that with the club.
No, there wasn't a negotiation. It was like, I had announced to the hierarchy, because I was only state president. I wasn't national president, or as international as well. So the people above me, I had dialogue with often and said I'm ready to go. And they were sad to see me go. But, obviously respected my decision. And the next guy in charge, he was ready to step up. And he stepped up and he did a good job.
Yep.
So
And then you're straight from there to Dubai, right?
straight to Dubai.
Yep. And for people that don't know, like you weren't just a tourist there. Like you were making moves all the way up to the ruler of the UAE at the time. So you're rubbing shoulders.
Sharjah, bro.
Tell us a bit about
The
that.
King of Sharjah. That would just happened. I bred Arabian horses, and I was at an Arabian horse show, and I met his manager that manages the breeding facility, she's an English lady, and we were just, talking shit. He breeds straight Egyptians, I breed straight Egyptians. I said, I'd love the opportunity to come and see his horses. And she said, oh, it's very hard to give into the palace. But write him a letter. So I did. So I wrote his highness a letter.
Really? On paper?
No, I typed it out. And then I emailed it to her, then she faxed it to the palace.
What?
And I said in the letter, I said, look, I admire your breeding program. I also breed straight Egyptians, which, by the way, is only 5% of the Arabian horses. And I have a facility in Victoria, and I'm in Dubai, and I'd love the opportunity to come and see your vessels. And she called me and said, he'll see you Wednesday. And she gave me the whole protocol, because he's a king, and it's a palace. And so we did work there on the Wednesday morning, and you had a big buffet fucking thing, and all the horses had been displayed, and I sat to his right, and we just talked about the horses. And I spoke in English and Arabic, and he spoke in English and Arabic, and he's very accomplished. He used to be the Minister of Education, so he's written a lot of books. Very smart, generous man. And we got along really well. And then he dismissed his staff and took me for a tour of the palace, which is amazing. And that was it. And then he had one stallion that he bought from America called Ansata Imatep. It was the world champion stallion. Beautiful stallion. That he was no longer using in his breeding program. And it's the desert, so they have limited space. And this horse was now living in a stable in the veterinary hospital. And I said to Julie, do you think he'd consider retiring to Australia? And she said, oh no, ask him, write him a letter. So I did. I wrote him a letter. And he gifted me the horse.
No way.
Yeah.
He gave you a horse?
A horse he paid $1 million for. A stallion. So that then he gifted me another horse he paid $80,000 for when I was 2 weeks old these are very rare bloodlines. So they gave me a leg up in the breeding program, so I've got really good bloodlines now. Then he gave me more horses. Then he gave my children horses.
No way.
Oh, I had to stop taking horses. Every time he gave me a horse, I got to report again to get it back to Australia.
Serious?
Yes.
You got them now?
I've still got budgeting, but that stand passed away a few years back. He gave me a couple of stands actually. So, and my children would go there to the palace for riding lessons, and they got to the point where, because I was flying in and out of the UAE a lot because I was working for this mining company.
Yep.
So they'd fly me all around the world. And it was a hub. Dubai was a hub. We had an office there. So I got to the point where I flew in one time, I flew out and didn't tell him, and he got cranky. So Julie said, you can't come unannounced. Whenever you fly into the UAE, you must let him know in advance. So I was in Lebanon, flying back for 12 hours. I'm in transit. And I said, Julie, I'm in for 12 hours. She said, okay, His Highness won't be able to see you because it's the end of Ramadan and the beginning of Eid, and he's got people lining up for requests. I wasn't there. I was just letting her know. I said, let's have a coffee in the morning at the Intercontinental, which is closer to Sharjah. She came at 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, her phone's going off. Where's Jay? I'm at the palace. I'm at the stables. He's not here. Because she notified him I was there. We had to rush to the palace. He wanted to see me. He really liked me.
Really?
We got along though.
Do you guys keep in touch or?
Well, it sort of turned to shit. Somebody gave him a file.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah. So I'm still welcome to the palace.
Yeah.
He preferred to keep arms length. He asked about me. I have to ask about him. But
What a fucking shame. Who did that? I mean, at that point, you were pretty famous though, so you kind of maybe to be expected.
yeah.
But bro, still, what a fucking. I can't believe you got $1 million horse.
Yeah.
So do you keep the bloodline? Is that how it works?
I've still the same. Yeah, I keep bloodline. Very weird bloodline.
That's what a thing to bond over too, like horse breeding.
He had an auction. He donated 3 horses to breast cancer research, which his daughter is the chairperson of.
Right.
And one of the horses there, I paid $82,000 US for it. So I reciprocated the generosity by buying this horse.
It's awesome.
And I remember he came down. This is in a big auction, and this is royalty, bro. And not just him, all the UAE royalty. All the bangers are there. I'm at the back bin. After the auction, he came straight to me. He said, why did you buy that horse? You didn't need to. I said, for respect. Of course. And everyone saw that we had a relationship, and it blew them all away, bro.
Were you there by yourself?
Yes.
Fuck.
I was working.
Yeah, bro, that is the coolest shit ever.
It
Like,
was cool to be able to. And that fucking horse, bro, let me tell you, wasn't that great.
oh really?
Female was a mare.
Yeah.
I bred her a couple of times, but she's a bit short, a bit small, a bit ugly.
Could you-
Straight Egyptians are.
Could you imagine from like where life took you to like, if you could go back in time and tell yourself, you know, in 10 years you're going to be in the UAE with the royal family breeding horses, like, you wouldn't believe that, surely. Or maybe you would. Maybe you would.
There's no limitation.
Maybe you would. Like, that's
You
true.
might be a billionaire.
I wouldn't put it past you. That's why we call this the Unbreakable podcast. Unbreakable humans, money, motivation, mindset. I could ask you about that story for about 3 hours, but for the audience, I'm going to move on to the next one because this is just shit that I geek out on, and these idiots are going to say, oh, why do you keep hogging the podcast? Get your own fucking podcast. So the next question will be, so we're gonna fast forward from Dubai. So we've gone in the car bombing thing a few times. I'm not gonna walk you through that again. But what I would want to kind of get a bit of story around is, because I remember you said like that you get blown up, right? The car fucking explodes. Unbelievable. God's watching over you because that door's open a crack. You get blown out, your legs are gone, and the first thing you think to yourself is, who's going to pick up the kids?
Yeah, bro.
That to me was the most beautiful part of the book, because I thought to myself, that's the first thing that I would think. And who was it that called? Was it their mum to fly in, or?
I called, when they took me to hospital, they wanted to put me out for surgery. I refused. They said I need to talk to someone from the embassy to contact Australia. So I had no idea what was going on. My phone was in the car. So the embassy contacted the mother and the school, and my people came around quite quickly, and they sorted everything out.
Right. So they called the embassy, who called.
That's right.
Right, and was she close by, or did she have to?
She was in Australia.
Okay.
I had local people. I had one on my side who was in Bulgaria. He was there within 3 hours.
Oh, to pick up your kids?
Picked up my kids.
Yeah.
Tooled up he stayed up for 3 days, bro.
Is this the big bloke? Yeah. I like it. He's a good character.
Nice Glock. No one got him.
He wouldn't let, I remember he wouldn't let anyone out. Yeah,
I for 3 fucking days.
that's sad.
He's a machine, bro.
How's he doing now?
Killing it.
Yeah,
The
good.
hot girls, mate. Europe, fucking
Yep.
UK is killing.
So your kids get picked up, thank God, nice and safe. You've got your mate in the hospital who's keeping you guard, and then you're just basically getting put back together for the next few days.
With the stick attacks and super glue.
Bit of duct tape. And then so there was the surgery in Greece. You go over to Germany, they fuck it up a little bit, and then did you have to go back to Greece to get put back together?
No, I went from Greece to Germany to Lebanon to Australia.
Yep.
Australia was very good.
Better.
Greece, let me tell you, there's Greek surgeons were so fucking good. The hospital was good. Everything about Greece is good except just put onto your car before you jump in it. Outside of that, highly recommend it. If you haven't been, please go. You'll love it.
Do you like? Have you been back since?
No,
Probably you think you will or not?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I'm in Europe, I definitely will go to Greece.
Um.
I got lots of good friends in Greece.
Right.
The Greeks are amazing people. The country's it's such a beautiful country. The people are beautiful. The food's really good. Like my situation is isolated. I'm in the underworld. Shit happens. Don't judge a country by that. It's a beautiful. By all means, if you want a destination to holiday, go to Athens. The coastline's incredible. Grafada, hit the islands. Yeah, man. You won't get a better time.
Shout out Grace link in bio.
And the people are amazing.
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing.
You said there's a big a lot of private security there as well. If you want to get extra precautions, if you need it.
Yeah. Because it's back then there was a lot of poverty, so a lot of Albanians, Romanians, willing people.
Yeah.
Cool shit. Clubs. But there was one incident on the clubs. There's 2 guys sitting outside, waited for the owner to come out. They sprayed him, killed the owner, got the bodyguard, shot the wife or the girlfriend back over the border. Violence is huge over there. It happens all the time.
What was that for?
Yeah, entertainment.
Pissed someone off?
Didn't pay a bill. Who knows?
Didn't pay for his dinner?
There's a lot of power. Look, you don't realize, you don't know this, but Greeks are proper gangsters, right?
Yeah, right.
They're proper gangsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that are around that hub.
People.
Yep.
And also proper gangsters.
Two questions. You'll like one of them. One of them I haven't even asked you, but I'll ask. The head of the Angels over there, I'm going to butcher his name. Is it Alexei Novak? No. What's his
No, I've seen his photo in the media, but
Yeah.
I don't know him, but he looks like a proper gangster.
Yeah, apparently he's got a bit of a colourful story. Not as not to the extent of the Greek incident, but circling back to that, obviously people say they want you to speculate over why it happened, and then they want you to speculate over what happened to the dude that did it. If you feel like speculating on today's podcast.
If I was to guess, I'd have to say that given that I'm entrenched in the underworld and I know so many people, I'm not haters. I'm generally well.
That's what I've never understood about this thing.
I was smashing a few hot chicks in Greece. I was wrong.
He cross swords.
To buy a bit of a stick of dynamite, to roll around your account, just to explode someone, it's not difficult.
Right.
It's easier than actually shooting someone, confronting someone and shooting them. Yep. Maybe it was some disgruntled ex-boyfriend or who fucking knows, mate.
Yep.
Yeah, I fucked the wrong chick. Who knows? I didn't know any money. I had no real enemies. And nothing's come out. So, could be anyone. And really, when you think about it logically, let's be logical about this. Was anyone I know, I would have been blown to fucking bits. I would not have survived.
So it wasn't a capable pro.
Definitely wasn't a pro. And no, there's been no word since. No one's heard a thing. So
Wonder what he's doing with his life.
he's probably got back with his girlfriend that I was fucking.
I love you throw a bit of shade in the middle of the podcast. All right, now the two that I'm gonna wrap us up with, because you've done well. People that don't know, this is your second back-to-back podcast. today. That's on top of the circuit you've been doing for the book. So two that we're going to round this out with, which I think you'll like. Tell people what it's like being a father and how that changes your view on the world as a man.
Oh, man. You know, the love you get from a child is like, nothing compares. I mean, obviously, as they grow older and they start to resent you for being disciplined them, the game changes a little bit. But in the initial stages, the first 2 or 3 years, there's nothing more rewarding. I highly recommend it. If you haven't got a child, just do your best to have one, because there's nothing in this world that will give you more joy.
That's beautiful, man. I love that. Spoken from the heart. And then the last question is, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, I keep getting asked this question.
Yeah, because she stole it off my run sheet. That's why.
I couldn't give a fuck if you remember me.
Oh, yeah, true.
Switch this shit up. I don't care if you watch it. Fuck off.
So you just want to live your life.
I'm just here with I'm just doing my...
Just want to live the best life you can. And if people want to enjoy our content, they can do it, or they can switch off. Yeah. You know, it's funny, the people who usually don't give a fuck the most tend to get watched the most. You know what I mean? People like authenticity.
Couldn't give a fuck.
No, it's the people, what is it? It's the people who want fame these days that don't get it. It's the people who just...
You know, Big Diddy?
Oh, fucking Brother Love. I can tell you about Brother Love off camera if you want to know about that. Oh, yeah, that gay rapist. Yeah, I've said some very negative things about him on my podcast, so hopefully...
I would like that.
You're better off, man. Hopefully he stays locked up nice and tight. Look, this has been a 10 out of 10. I'm going to put a link to the book in the bio. Sales are doing well. People are liking it. Yeah, good feedback. Link to that in the bio. We've got a second clip with Alex Page as the co-host. We're going to drop those clips online. You guys asked for this one. Every time we bring a guest back, the second podcast is always a banger. So this was not my call. You guys asked for this. We've given it to you, Jay. I can't thank you enough for your time. Last thing, you mentioned a couple of charities. I'm going to put in the bio. Autism. What was that? Autism.
Mikado and his wife Cheryl.
Yeah, it was not autism awareness. It was something support for autism. I'm gonna butcher the name.
You'll find it, but...
Yeah, it's supporting young kids with autism. So I'll put that in the bio as well. The host of the podcast was Jay. Jake was very accommodating to us today. Yep. Huge shout out to Jake, introduced via Jay. And as always, man, absolute soldier. You pulled through. And I can't thank you enough. And let's see if these people ask me to do a third one. Pleasure, bro. Thank you.